Fairy Tale. Aizen? Gray Sasuke? Still going?
Yeah. Who knows at this point, but all I know is that Aizen's been seemingly screwing with all the chapters this week.
Yes.
But for Fairy Tale, well, first of all, we had the fact we start off with the finding out that apparently there's a spy in Avatar, which, I mean, and it's not Gray apparently.
It's obviously Zuko.
Of course, it's Zuko. And thankfully, we found out that the mark isn't making him inherently evil. It's more like making him go batshit crazy, obsessive over his goal to destroy the Book of End.
Yeah, and I did say that, like, perhaps he joined Avatar to look for End, and I was correct, but not in the way I was thinking.
You were thinking he was still in control.
Yeah.
But he's kind of sort of lost control.
Yeah, or is losing control steadily.
Well, I mean, it could be like he's probably the best way to describe it would probably be he's descending into madness.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that begs the question, if Gray isn't the one spying on Avatar, who is?
I don't know.
And then we see that, Natsu had no friggin' idea what he was doing. Like, everyone thought last week that he took the job because he thought that job would lead them to Gray. But no, he just took the job because he didn't want Sting to leave.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea that he's going to run into Gray. Or at least I don't think he did.
I don't know.
But as far as we know, he just took the job because, like I said, he didn't want or not Sting, Rogue to leave, and that right now he just doesn't want to. Well, I guess he's in his mind, since he doesn't know he's about to encounter Gray, he's just going to keep taking all of Rogue's jobs until he finds Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping that maybe he'll come across Gray. And then we see that, just when we thought, racking our brains to try and figure out how Natsu and Lucy were going to try and take on this whole guild by themselves, the Magic Council shows up, being led by, surprisingly, Gajiel and Panther Lily.
Yeah, the former delinquent is now leading the Magic Council.
Delinquent squad.
Yeah.
Capturing the delinquents.
Takes one to capture one, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that's what our parents. Isn't that usually what people's parents usually say? You can't get away with anything because we've already tried it.
I guess.
So it's definitely going to be interesting because so far with Natsu, Lucy, Panther Lily, and Gajiel, we have 4 people on the quote-unquote good side, and I believe there's 8 members of Avatar. I think.
I don't remember.
But that's what I believe, and since one of them is a spy, it's assumed that they will, defect to the good guy's side once things, when the shit hits the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see who else will come to help, because there's, if it is an effect, some 5, 2 people. So, who show up? Don't. And any theories?
Um, Could always have Erza show up. Could always have Laxus show up, but that would be a 2 OP.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
yeah, looking at it now, and there are 8 members.
Okay.
So if one of them defects, then that'll be a 7-on-5 fight. So some people are saying that maybe somehow Juvia will recover and Wendy will be able to bring her to the fight, but I don't see that happening, mainly because of the fact that she's not. It's been pretty much in the previous, like, what, 2 chapters ago, when they left her, they pretty much made it clear that she wasn't getting better until Gray came back.
Right.
So until this whole thing with Avatar's done and they get Gray back, Juvia's not and Wendy aren't going nowhere. Because Wendy's going to remain by Juvia's side, and Juvia's not going to get better until she sees that Gray's okay.
Uh-huh.
So but for this chapter, I felt it was a very good setup chapter. It got some decent information out of the way, and a fight's gonna break out next chapter. I mean,
Yeah.
between who, which people, because is everyone gonna get? Because it seems like Gajiel and Panther Lily's group's gonna get get there first, because they seem to be right outside the door.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Natsu and Lucy seem maybe a little bit farther away.
Mm. Yeah, could turn out any which way. Like Gajio could get the crap kicked out of him because he's first.
No, Gajiel. No. What's gonna happen is it's gonna be like everything else. He's gonna send in the lackeys first, the random faceless fodder guys, who are gonna get their butt kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just plain and simple. And even if Gajiel and Panther Lily go in first, the fodder guys are just gonna come behind him. So while Panther Lily and Gajiel are holding their own, the other guys are gonna go past them, which would probably be. I can just picture it now. Gajiel saying, "Don't go, get too far ahead, or don't go too far ahead of me because we don't know what they're capable of," or something like that. And he just basically, they don't listen to him, and then they just end up getting wiped out or something. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this progresses, but it's definitely a very small, or at least this arc, or what these past chapters have proven, is that instead of it just being it's basically uber important, or that this gets dealt with first, and that most likely we're gonna be going maybe another, like, this arc will probably get Gajiel and Panther Lily and Juvia, and Gray, and then there's gonna be another arc where we're gonna get a couple more characters.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm hoping that if that's the case, that the next arc after this we finish getting Fairy Tail back, because I don't want it to be like an entire 3 or 4 arc saga of trying to get all the characters back.
Yeah, I hope it's pretty short.
Unless, like, in the next arc they switch focus and you see, like, Gaji will go off on him to go get people back, and we focus on that. Kind of like separate. I don't know. There's a lot of ways it could go, but definitely looking forward to what's going to be happen next week and in the future, because there's the whole Blue Note thing didn't really give a chance for our characters to really show their stuff, but Avatar's definitely going to get us to see, at least for the most part, the characters that are here now, how they've grown over the past year, which is going to be great. Especially with Lucy, because we got a glimpse. We saw her how she's improved, but the scene where we got to see her use her powers was kind of like a joke. Like, they just say, "Oh, look," jokingly, Lucy Regulus kick. Her comedic kick attack. So I hope we'll get a chance to see her use it more seriously,
Mhm.
and what abilities she'll have with from the other character, from the other spirits. Because, like, for instance, okay, say Cancer, is she gonna, you know, be able to use scissors and be able to move at fast speeds? Because that's what
Maybe.
pretty much Cancer does. Is he'll go like at like such a super high speed and like do your hair in like 2 seconds. So does that mean she's gonna be super fast with him, or
Oh.
say like Tauros, she like gets like an axe and has increased strength stuff like it's so
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, that's some of them are a little more obvious. Like you'll have Sagittarius. She'll be using a bow and arrow probably. Um,
Mhm.
Virgo, she'll have the digging ability, the whole digging ability, which I don't think is going to actually ever be used for like actual combat purposes. I don't think,
Probably not.
unless she's able to like quickly switch between the powers. Like, okay, switch to Virgo to make a quick escape, and then like switch to Tauros, and then quickly sneak up behind the enemy, and with the axe or whatever.
Mhm.
Because that's how I could see it going from there, as well as having summoning those spirits to fight with her.
Yeah.
Just seeing her and friggin' Virgo tag teaming that actually be kind of funny. But so, like, yeah, I'd give this a good, I would say it's a pretty good chapter.
I'm gonna say decent.
It's a setup chapter, so it can only be so good.
Yeah.